My latest project here in the studio is, this has been the new thing. I had all my amps over here. Now they're not over here. Now we have a bunch of cables. I have wanted to be able to control my tones and amps from where I sit. I thought it was cool having them all back there and being able to walk over and be like, yeah, I can. But, you know, having my face in front of the speakers has become monumentally important. So I have relocated amp heads right next to me, and I have added something really special that connects and makes this whole system work, and it is an amp switcher. This is the Cahayan, basically the simplest thing ever. You've got 8 different amps you can connect, and then 4 different speakers you can connect. Currently, it's just set up to my aux box so that I have the consistency. Pick a cabinet on there, pick a sound, and jump between all these amps. And it is super awesome, but I didn't have enough of what I needed to actually connect 8 amps because it's a lot of cables. So we got these over here. Big project today is we're gonna connect all this stuff and actually play through these different amps and have that experience of joy of getting all these different types of tones. I'll show you some of the new amps we got here, but in the meantime, this guy came over.
Oh, I'm here. Hello. I'm stealing amps.
He's literally stealing my tone.
Yeah.
Literally
like
stealing.
legitimately.
And he's putting it into a box. It's like a genie thing here.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he steals the tone and puts it into a box and then takes it with him.
This is my first big boy capture.
So we're gonna do that first, and then when he gets out of here, I'm gonna connect everything and we'll do all tubes, real deal, fun tone land stuff. So, cool.
Can I borrow a mic stand? Would it be too much to ask for you to get a couple shots on mine?
Oh my God. Mike is now stealing my
I've stolen
assistant.
your mics, your assistants,
Studio
your studio.
time, studio time, subscribe.
Subscribe to Studio Time, Andrew Masters.
All right, so the idea here with this switcher, if you come around back, we've got 3 different sections here. We've got the 2 amp section, right? So on the front, what we have is our guitar input. You actually plug your guitar or your pedal board into the front with 1 cable. And then this section here goes to the amp input, right? So you've got 8 different 2 amp outputs. So this is gonna send to the Rev, this one's gonna send to the Supra, this one's gonna send Vox AC30, etc., etc. And then next to the midis, we have the from amp. So this is gonna be our speaker output from the amplifiers. Staying with me here, we got 2 amp, from amp, okay? And then this last section is to speaker. So you can go to different cabinets, and eventually we'll have a couple different cabs. But currently, this is going to the aux box, which is actually really awesome for how we're using it, especially for getting consistency and really A-Bing the different amps is really fun. So 2 amp, from amp, 2 speakers. There's a little MIDI input output for control if you want to use some sort of MIDI switcher control. But I intentionally put this whole area right next to where I sit so that I don't, there's no point in having MIDI control when I can just reach here and flip between. Now the way I have this set up is my aux box is going to my direct monitoring. So the second I switch from mute to an amp and the amp's on, I'm gonna be able to hear guitar regardless of whether or not Pro Tools or Logic is open, which is going to be super fun. Now we've got a sweet collection of amps here. We're very, very lucky. I'll give you a little preview. This is the Princeton Reverb, the Sweetwater Special Edition. It actually sounds amazing. This is a 64 Fender Champ, and this is my friend Frank's. He said this is basically the rock machine. I have not plugged it in yet or heard it. Super excited. Deluxe Reverb. This is a reissue. I think it was, he says like 2002. This thing also sounds unbelievable, and the speaker on that actually sounds fantastic as well. And then over the front here, the ones that I'll have the ability to reach and control are our Princeton, 64 Princeton over here. Now this is not a Princeton Reverb, we just have, volume, tone, and tremolo. That one sounds really rock and roll. I mean, that thing sounds so good. And then these are the amps that I've had for a while. We've got the Rev G20, right? G20, yep. This is kind of like a high gain rock, modern rock kind of thing. This is an Ashdown. This is actually a bass amp. I'm gonna have this set up too, so I can literally just use the same plug and switch to a bass and go to the bass amp. And then underneath that, we have the Supro Black Magic Reverb, which is actually a really cool amp. And then the Vox AC30 head. So between all of these, the Princeton, the Deluxe, the Champ, the Supro, the AC30, the Rev, we've got a lot of variety for tones. So I'm very excited to get this all set up. I'm gonna stop rambling now and see if I got the right cables and connections. In fact, I'm gonna actually disconnect the ones I have currently connected and then bring in the new ones, and we'll see how it works. Hopefully it looks really great though. So we've officially got the whole guitar system set up here. I'm gonna just kind of walk you through how it's all turned out. So obviously the Cahayan switcher speaker selector here is the center of everything. We have 8 different amps connected. Not all of them are powered on. 4 options for speaker outs. The way the speakers are coming out is gonna be sending to our aux box. So we're gonna have a consistent cab setting on our aux box loaded. You can see it's a 4x12 cabinet here on the aux app with a little bit of room in it. But I'm gonna have my buddy Frank play a little bit on this 335, and we'll flip through and kind of get a taste of how we can actually find the right tone by literally just pressing a couple buttons, almost like it's a guitar pedal. And all of these amps are very different styles of amps. So we'll start off on the lighter tone. I have them all set to sort of different styles. This first one is a Princeton Reverb reissue, and it's got a little bit of a tremolo on it. So again, all I have to do is just switch to that. Beautiful. And there's no pedals engaged here either. This is just straight to amplifier. Now let's switch. This is 64 Princeton reverb, Princeton no reverb with tremolo. And what's cool about having this all come to the aux is I can just reach right here and add in some more room. Or pull it out. Whatever is sitting right for the song that we're working on. All right, let's switch to Deluxe. Oh, beautiful. now it's gonna progressively get a little more overdriven as we jump to the Supro Blackmagic here. Sounds absolutely amazing. And then we've got this Champ here. I believe this is on 5. 64 Champ. 64, right? Which can go both ways and clean it up. Or we can really blow it. All right, and then lastly is gonna be for a much more modern sound, going to this Rev. This is gonna be more of like a modern, heavier guitar tone. And this one you can really go full, like, back to the Deluxe. And this is what I think we've had it now set up for 2 songs. So both of these songs, we've had the luxury of literally just flipping through, hearing it in the context of the song we're working on. And it really just kind of reveals itself. It's nice. I actually don't have this labeled. One of my buddies said, the first thing you need to do is label that thing. And I kind of like not having a label on there because there's no bias. It's just sort of like you hear it and you feel it and then you go, oh, maybe that's it. And actually that's the amp that I probably wouldn't have guessed. The last amp on here that we did not listen to is this AC30 because I had a tube blub. But the AC30 sounds wicked too. Sounds really great. So that's it. And then what's cool about how this is set up, last thing here, is obviously keeping it right next to me to be able to switch through. And then just immediately hear it while I'm sitting in front of my speakers. But I have it coming in on a couple tracks where I can monitor it while I sit here. And then when we're done, we just take the guitar, set it down, and I can just hit there's a kill switch on it. What's cool is it also routes when you hit the mute, it routes to an additional output that goes to a tuner. So if you have a tuner pedal or a rack tuner, when you mute it, it sends right to your tuner, which is great. I think there's only one part that I didn't mention here is that there's actually an insert send. I can't tell if that's an effects. It says insert amp bus, so you got to send and a return for an insert on here, and then you have your MIDI switcher ability. So if you want to be able to actually switch from your amps using some sort of MIDI controller, you can do that as well. So this has been incredible to use to actually find the sounds and not have to get up, move mics between cabs, adjust levels, have all those inconsistencies, and just kind of find it and go and grab the part immediately. In fact, the last thing we did was bass, because I have a bass amp on here too, and it's actually this one. So when we did bass, I was thinking we'll just be able to go to the bass amp. But since it was connected to the switcher, I was like, you know what? Let's just listen to it on some of these other amps while we're here. And the bass actually sounded the best for the song through the Fender Deluxe. And these are just little accidents that you find when you're able to do these quick switches like that, that you maybe wouldn't have taken the time to try otherwise of plugging a bass guitar into a Fender Deluxe or whatever it is. So really, really powerful little tool for our production setup and our guitar setup. And I think I'm pretty happy with it. Just one cable on the floor. It could sit right next to me and we can find the parts and dial it in. So yeah. Let me know what you think down in the comments and we'll see you in the next video.